Hey guys, in my last video, I was talking about where I think things are moving, right? Because everything's changed. It's all up on its head now. Google came out with a helpful content update algorithmic change, and they've been pushing it. So this new and large algorithm update, it's been shaking up the internet. It targets content that seems to have been primarily created for ranking well in search engines rather than to help or inform people. So the algorithm's applied site-wide, meaning generally speaking, will your site do well or not? Depends on whether like 90% of your pages are trying to rank well instead of actually help people. Why did that happen? Because too many people are trying to use the same shortcuts everyone else is using. Everyone's trying to create content that plays follow the leader. You'll say, hey, you created content for that really simple keyword concept, so I'm going to go create that same content again, but mine is fresher than yours. I'll make sure my page is a little longer and covers one or two more points, so it's better than yours. Okay, that's not considered helpful or informing people. What blows my mind is the guys who say, I don't know what happened. My pages are down and all I see is Reddit everywhere. They're outranking me on Reddit. Google's got something going on with Reddit. And I go look at my stuff and go, not in the services industry. What are you talking about? And here they're creating pages like how to handle baby chicks without hurting them. And I'm thinking, do we need yet another page for that? There have to be like, I don't know, 187,000 pages that explain that. And then another guy was like, yeah, I'm falling too. It's like, what was your page that you're paying attention to? What is SEO? It's like, what do you mean, what is SEO? Why on earth are you creating a page for what is SEO? It's already been answered by the creators of SEO and then the top gurus who threw into motion. And once in a blue moon, someone's going to have some new take on what SEO is. But most of you guys can't add anything of value to that. Why are you creating a page that you're trying to rank called What is SEO? You should only be creating that on your website for people who landed on your website through other keywords. And they're just also seeing that topic. Yes, you talk about it. You want Google to see that. But if you think you're supposed to rank for what is SEO, that's what Google's doing here. They're saying, quit skyscrapering other people's contents, quit piggybacking off of other people's ideas. So let me walk through a few things I think are really incredibly important. One, there's objective versus subjective content. I covered that in the last video. So something like, how long should I bake salmon for at 350 degrees? Okay, it's pretty objective. Google's going to use their own generative AI to answer the question now. So we don't need a web page for that. But because now you know that, you might have a second question like, oh yeah, and at a high altitude, does that change things? Well, below that generative answer will be subjective, more subjective questions. At a high altitude, which high altitude? 1,000 feet, 500 feet, 2,500 feet, 7,000 feet? How high up are you, right? So it gets less clear now. Now, sure, you could answer for every height and so forth. I just threw that in the air. But let's talk about something else. Name me some great recipes, great salmon, baked salmon recipes. Okay, well, there's two ways that could be approached. Google could show you recipes that are already made, but if you said generate a recipe for me, Google could generate a whole recipe and the instructions for how to cook it for you, right? With AI. And so when you think about that, it really matters whether we're going after something objective or subjective in human terms. So show me some good recipes means, okay, I want recipes that are voted up, right? I want to know that they're good because other people said, this is good, right? That's very different than generating a recipe. Okay, so there was objective answers. Then there's this kind of amorphous gray area where should Google come up with an answer for you? It could, but it really depends on what you ask. Like, make me a recipe. Okay, it'll use AI. Show me some good ones. Okay, that means human rated and approved. Let me show you a list of what humans put out there already. Or, what's already been rated up. Then we have finally subjective. Subjective means it's getting a little more personalized. And finally, we're getting into the totally different questions that totally different people have that all still fit within the spectrum. But you don't need thousands of people to see anything and come to your site where only 1% buys, right? You're looking for your peeps. And if you start to point out what's good about you versus someone else as a review comparison, for instance, or the pros and cons of a thing, then, or who specializes in what and who specializes in the other thing, then you're saving people a ton of time, right? So I'm going to show you how that kind of thing looks. And I'm going to show you the difference, the before and after, okay? Check this out. We used to write content this way, and we'd ask GPT, hey, here's a keyword we want to write about, anti-fog solutions. And then it'll ask, is there a website that already exists for this project or not? Well, I might be like, well, yeah, xfog.com. Okay, so then it'll go and it'll research xfog.com. It'll understand what it's all about here. And then it goes, okay, what are we going to do for the authority map? And I'm going to say something like anti-fog goggles, Okay, and it's going to start to create top-level pages, okay? And these are going to be, by design, there, I'm stopping it. These are going to be useful, generally speaking. They're going to be like high search, keyword combinations, right? And this is how we build topical authority websites. We know this, right? Great, but these days now we can do a better job than just building yet another topical authority website with all the right pages, because it's not very helpful. What's going to separate us from the other guys? So this is wild. Take a look at this twist on the theme. We're going to prove that we know what we're talking about. So, are you familiar with XFog? Okay, XFog's an American-made brand, offers this, that, and the other. Here's how it works. Awesome. Now watch. What competitive products exist for the same markets? Okay, and it was getting some kind of a clue about the markets earlier, but here we go. Notable brand in the anti-fog solutions market. There are several competitive products for sports, military, and construction. Here's some of the prominent alternatives, and it goes into it. These guys, this is the market that they serve mainly, and these are the features of this. Okay, then there's this. Here's the market for cat crap. And here's the features. It's available in both spray and paste forms to smear on your glasses or goggles, right? Then there's fog gone, revision military, and it's telling you everything about each of these. Okay, I gave GPT a direction. I am cornering it into a subjective take. I'm not just letting it write straight down the objective list. I'm cornering it into a direction. This is huge. So now that we got these competitive products offering the various solutions, watch this. For each competitive product, create a list of 4 to 6 basic pros and cons. Then come up with a list of what makes the XFog better than each competitor. Okay, I'm getting into it. Fog text, the pros, and it goes into them. The cons, and it goes into them. Cat crap, pros and cons, fog gone, and so on. It does all the pros and cons. Then it comes up with a general list of what makes XFog better than all of them. Okay? Continuous airflow, versatility, durability, low maintenance, rechargeable battery, custom fit. And it explains it clearly. Now, you know what's great? I get to say this. Now that it's clear on these things, and I've cornered it into a direction, it's thinking pros and cons of what makes XFog better. And I mean, we are getting careful with it. Come up with a list of the most commonly used products for each industry where such a product is commonly used, such as machine operators, police, military, doctors out in the jungles or deserts, cross-country skiers, etc. Then explain the main benefit or benefits, okay, that each industry would enjoy if switching to XFog. That is helpful content. Helpful content update, isn't it? Industry-specific solutions and benefits of switching. Machine operators, commonly used products. They normally would use Fog Gone Spray or Fog Tech DX wipes. So either this spray or those wipes. Main benefits of switching. Continuous airflow. Provides constant defogging without needing to stop work for reapplication. Durability. Withstands harsh industrial environments, including dust and debris. Hands-free operation. Once set up, XFog requires no manual intervention, allowing operators to focus on their tasks. That's called helpful content, and it's subjective. It's speaking about the benefits, the perceived benefits of switching to XFog from what already existed. What else somebody might be using in that case. We know it's subjective because we led down this path. We created the story and then postulated out of the story what the answer should be. Does that make sense? So then also for police, commonly used products are these. Main benefits of switching is this. Military, extreme durability. Guess what I can do with every one of these things? All right. I can create pages for each of those industries. And I can create a backstory for each of these things. Based on this information, I can continue down below and say create a backstory for each comparison. Okay? And then I can use that when writing. And so I'm creating great subjective content that explains to people in each industry why they would want to switch from what they use right now to our new products. See how much better that is than just tell me about the XFog and tell me several niches and sub-niches, non-overlapping topics. Write about all those topics for XFog for each industry. That's not as specific, is it? It doesn't really get into the nitty-gritty, does it? I'll tell you one more thing that this approach did. You see how the blueprint up in here? Mostly it's for XFog, but I can have it point out where it got all of the information for each of those other websites. So I can get my citations, right? And in so getting my citations, not only did I write this by doing the research first, the way you would in college when you need to turn the paper in, the research paper that you need to turn in. Don't forget to cite your sources. But I know what made this kind of writing work for all those different pages that we're going to do. And so we know what our sources are. It's going to be so easy to source out. We can even source out directly to the competitive websites if we want. Somebody reading through this is going to be interested in what it has to say. They're not going to tend to click to go unless they go, oh, actually, that's exactly what I need. And guess what? If somebody's reading it and they read this solution is a wipe on liquid and it's going to the FogTech website or something and they go, oh my God, I got to go there. Fine, let them go. Google wants to see you let them go. Don't trap them. Google wants to see inbound links and outbound links. Your site has to not be risky. It's not trying to trap people and lock them into place and force them to buy only from you. If you want to rank in the organic section, you're an information-based website. You open the doors to everyone. They're all welcome to come and learn from you. What have you got to say? Say something subjective. Now, that is never going to change for the foreseeable future because it's based on a human angle. Okay, subjective is human. Okay, bots can't tell you the best tasting baked salmon recipe. It can only suggest what it sees as being top rated either here or there, depending on the source, whether you trust the source or agree with the source. Okay. Because a French magazine talking about baked salmon could, and you see ratings on that versus an Italian website talking about baked salmon recipes and people voting that up. Well, you might find both great. Or you might not like one of those, right? It's all subjective. But when we write this way, we're able to answer questions and we can help people. Not just that, we can show up next to this competitor in the search. When someone searches for the competitor, right above or below that can be a link saying why XFog is better than FogTech DX, or compare XFog with FogTech DX. Okay, so we can show up for the people searching for other things because we're making associations in their market, very clearly talking about their products well, and then talking about why you might want to choose us, and let the people choose us who want to, and let the people want to continue on to some of those competitors continue on, because we helped them find that they want that. They don't want this, they want that. Great, glad to have helped you. Those of you who want this, we're right here. Those of you who don't, you weren't going to get it. We never thought you were going to buy our stuff. So either we did nothing to help you or we helped you, right? Huge. And also, when you do comparisons like this, you take away the objections. You make it really clear to people what's the advantage and disadvantage, and they can agree or disagree. But you made it really clear. Okay, they can understand the pros and cons of each choice. Okay, let me show you a different twist on the same concept. Here's some company. I said research, and it's a very generic thing. They mount televisions on walls with different devices and stuff in different houses and apartments. Okay, and they do it in their area, New York City. So I said, hey, look them up. And it's like, okay, I got them figured out. And then I said, and it gave me information on them. Great. Then I said, consider the more common keywords that they would show up for and check to identify at least 5 of their top competitors. Okay. So based on the research, here are 5 top competitors. New York City TV mounting, which turned out I checked it. I was thinking it was hallucinating, but it's not. It is literally a different website. It's a different company out there. Very similar name, right? But it's real. All these are real. Next is Best Buy Geek Squad. In here, I mean, I got my references to all these competitors, okay? And this one and that one and that one. Now, I'm not going to make a web page with this. This has no useful information, really. It's like directory listings. If I was making a directory and I wanted openers for them, then I'd do that. But let's go further. All right, so the competitors provide a variety of services similar, making the market competitive in terms of service offerings, warranties, and customer satisfaction guarantees. Now what? When you consider, I said, when you consider each of these companies, compare each to our target. See if you can identify the pros and cons of choosing one company over the other in each pairing. Similar, right? Review. So it did it. It took our target compared to the other one. And it said pros of our target. These are the pros. Cons of our target. Oh, not so many. Pros of the other guys. Okay? Cons of the other guys. All right? And then it went to the next one. So see, I can extrapolate and make web pages that literally are competing with the competitors. The page title is going to be something like review, this versus that. Literally, if somebody was searching for them because they heard of them, they're probably going to see us because we are pointing them out very clearly. Okay, we're going to be in the same area talking, hey, compare us before you buy. You know, before you buy, compare, right? Huge. You can show up for all your competitors' brand names. So if 1,000 people a month are searching for your competitor, they'll see you. And when you offer a page that breaks this information down, this is totally useful to people. And yet it's subjective. I herded GPT down a path. So it didn't just write about the company and what the company does, and that's it. I mean, sure, the company did that already, but instead, it's saying, if you compare these guys to those, here's what we see. These are pros and cons in each case to consider, so that you know. And we looked. No one's doing it. No one's comparing these guys, so it's going to rank. So, versus Best Buy Geek Squad, right? Literally, the pros of these guys, cons of these guys, pros of Best Buy Geek Squad, cons of Best Buy Geek Squad. So, people looking can make a decision on what they consider the better option. And so we did that with all these guys, and we linked to them. We actually linked to all these companies, okay? So we've got external authority links backing our research on these topics. Can we do lots of different pages like this? Yeah. Can we take pages like this and make variations for different websites that are each doing reviews? Yeah. We can even come up with 4 or 5 different ways to angle the review, to write 3 or 4 or 5 different variations, of the pitch, okay? And for those of you who are not faint at heart, I'm going to show you one more sample like that because I also love this. We're talking about how we increase our expertise, authority, and trust and getting people to spend a lot more time on the page. When you create review pages like this, people will spend more time on the page. How many of you guys have actually seen that yourself, right? Where you had, you were doing a search for something and you saw some reviews and you thought, well, let me check and see which one I really want. You start reading it, right? Maybe you click some of the links to go check them out, right? They open in new tabs and then you made a decision. Do you see how cool that is? So this guy can show up for tons more searches because he's associating himself with his competitors head on, okay? And suggesting why you might choose them and why you would choose him. You know what he could also do? If he can get affiliate links to those other sites, he can make money from anyone that goes through his links to the other sites. Reviewers make money that way. They'll take different products, explain the best you could get out of each of them and the worst to worry about out of each of them, and then they'll have the affiliate links going out to each of them. Really smart, right? Okay, if you're not faint at heart, I'm going to show you the next one. It has to do with penile implants. Okay, because I really want to point out the power of creating content in this way and justifying to Google your research. If you think of your website like a resume, that's what you're doing. You're telling Google not just what you want to say, but you're backing it with research and you're making those links available for people to also follow and see on their own. Google loves that. So by the way, what if somebody got 10 websites and we did this kind of power on each website, complete with external authority linking? And then we use some of those sites to backlink, some of those sites to backlink, some of those sites to backlink, some of those sites, and we do it through deep page backlinking. We have probably the strongest constellation of sites that can rise up in the niche, all using the competitor names and locations, comparing ourselves. And if we have affiliate links to some or all of those guys on all those sites, then we not just get all the sales that we get from people that think we're better, but for people who think they're better, we get a share of those commissions. Does that make sense? All right, here we go. If you're faint at heart, you could kill out of this now because that is really the topic I'm making. I mean, keep up with my future videos because, of course, we're doing this in a big, big way now. All my stuff is aiming in this way. And here's the point I want to make before I go into the final example. You can do external authority and trust through basically 4 things. You can do it through people, whether it's coaches, Tony Robbins, right? Write about Tony Robbins, write well about Tony Robbins. It's name recognition. Google will pick up on the fact that you're writing about the person. If I'm writing about a dentist, I'm going to have links to the dentist's LinkedIn, press release for the dentist, what they did, something in the news, where they helped out, where they went to school and what degree they got, some review pages somewhere. Make those connections. Google can figure that out real fast. You're talking about a person. Or you're talking about what? Like a business, which could be a clinic. Okay? Because whether you're going for product or service, there's like a person or a business. And a business that could be like a clinic in the case of health, right? Dentist or whatever. And so when you do that, you're talking about the location, and you've got links to their main website, okay? In the paragraphs, all right? People don't usually click these things, right? Those who do, though, great, you helped them, okay? Otherwise, the people just keep reading what you're saying. It's a pain in the neck to click. You don't know what you're going to see. You're going to have to start over, reading something. The only reason you're going there is you realize that's what you were looking for, right? And if the page helps that happen, that is good and useful. That's what Google wants. It's why you're able to rank in the organic section, making life easier on these guys, okay? Now, what else? Keywords, okay? Like the keywords itself. And so if the keyword is a medical term, have links to the medical resources, the medical branches of the universities that talk about the topic. Have links there. Have links to how the topic is used in the news by somebody to do something. Have links to the Wikipedia, links to the medical places that talk about the thing. And don't just get all your links from one place. Never do that. Mix and match. Mix it up for sure. Your research should cite several sources in several places. Think of it literally like writing a college paper, a research paper on something that you thought of. Okay? It's not like it has to be hard. We don't do hard stuff around here anymore, but we do think a bit about which way to go. That's the strategizing. How can I help my client rank higher, right? How can I help get traffic somewhere, right? Strategizing. Okay, so with that in mind, you can create authority and trust and expertise by linking out to people, linking out to places, linking out to businesses, and linking out to keyword, back up the keywords, right? Justify your knowledge of how the keywords should be used. Okay, now with that in mind, I'm going to do one last example, okay, because I think it's important. But here we go. It's going to be penile implants, so you guys ready? Not to be graphic, but to make the point. So here we go. All right. Find several authority web pages dealing with penile implants in a location. It's going to be, there's the city, Sewell, New Jersey, with a focus on creating web pages that refer searchers to local services. Oh, this might be great for like dispatch, right? Or for creating pages to pitch each different practitioner. By the way, how many of you guys realize that when you can write smartly about people specifically and their situation, how they compare to their competitors and the pros and cons of choosing them, you can easily put that in an email and go, hey, we can create 100 pages for you at $5 a page that help your website get a lot more authority because we're talking smartly about what you need to be saying on your website. Contact us for more information, whatever, or place your order here. I mean, you can do almost anything. It's so stupid easy. You can use GPT to send these emails off. But let's do it. Let's actually do it. So I'm starting from perfect scratch, right? Find authority web pages dealing with the topic with a focus on creating pages that refer searchers to local services. So this includes being able to name some of the clinics and locations where such specialists perform, the options they provide, benefits, and being able to name expert specialists. Okay, I gave it that prompt. I thought that one out. While I wrote, I just kind of added some details because I figured if I make it detailed enough like this, it's going to give me a lot. It understands what I am looking for because I'm telling it, right? Name some of the clinics or locations where the specialists perform. Name options they provide. Name benefits. And definitely name the specialists, right? The expert specialists. So here it went. And when it did, it came back with a list. Clinics and specialists. And guess what? It's not hardly hallucinating anything anymore. I am really astonished at the quality of the 4 Omni. Mueller Urology. Here's where it is. I checked the website. That's true. Here's who. I checked the website. That's true. Here's what he does. Yep. Here's his contact phone number. Yep, the phone number matched. Here's his website. Yes, it clicks to the right place. Okay. Here's another one. Okay. Then another one. Now, the only weird thing, Atlanta, this is not in the same area. I do not know why it shows this. I do know that people will fly to get these surgeries will go anywhere in the nation. So it might just be that it's actually got a lot of backing. I don't know. I could ask it, hey, give me another one that's local, but there might not be any more that are local. That might be the best center nearby. I'm doing all this for the example, right? But check it out. It's saying what they do. This one even says the brand it uses, okay? And the other brand it uses, okay? So I'm not just being generic here. I want to know the names, the clinics, the brands they use, all this stuff, right? So it just started in. Treatment options. So yeah, first what to do. Let me come back. Clinics and specialists. Treatment options. You know, inflatable versus flexible rod, and here are the brand names and all this stuff. No, guys, I don't have one of these. It's just, it came up because we like to sell leads. And for legal, for services you need to have, for health, I mean, anything that costs a lot pays a lot per lead, okay? So, or real estate. I mean, there's so many ways to go with this. Anyway, benefits. And it explains it. And it uses external authority links. The actual pages that point it out. Because we're seeing it. High satisfaction rates. Penile implants boast a satisfaction rate of over 93.8%. Significantly higher than other ED treatments like this and that. Well, how do we come up with those numbers? Google wants to know that we know what we're talking about, that we can send people to a resource to read more. And guess what? There are two resources right here. So when we make our pages, we will be able to include the resources, the authority links, right? Benefits, high satisfaction, discreet natural appearance, minimal recovery time. Okay. Expert specialists. We're talking about people. Yes, we can hyperlink the name and point at his LinkedIn, or hyperlink the name and point at a press release. Hyperlink the name and point at the clinic's department page where he's the head of the department. See? We can do things like this. Okay? And then here's this other guy. Then it goes into the conclusion. Okay, it just explains it from a conclusion point of view. For more details, please refer to, and that's these places, right? Heck yeah. And then I went into each of these naked URLs. In other words, just show me the URL. Don't show me the anchor text like this. I need to see the URL. When you say that, it gives you this anyway. And no, give me the naked URL. And then it gives you the HTTPS:// right? Okay. Now what I say. Suggest 10 top-level topics to write a website that will offer our local experts above to service searches. Make sure the topics are commonly referenced. I give you really well-researched, planned content for creating the subjective yet dead-on version of websites that has the external authority links as the backup, because we went there first. We did the research, and now when we're going to write this stuff, our backstory is going to merge our research with the topics. Okay? And that's what I did. After I got the topics, I said, now write 3 versions of a web page for topic number 3 above, where each version is aimed to promote each different specialist. I can create my review pages for each of the specialists this way. So I said topic number 3 above, okay? Benefits, where they're talking about advantages over other ED treatments and patient satisfaction rates and success stories. Guess what? Version 1, we're going to promote Dr. Thomas Mueller. Benefits with this guy is this stuff. Expertise, experience, comprehensive treatment options, high satisfaction rates, personalized care at the guy's clinic. We're not just cobbling this together. We did the research. Okay? Insurance and financing. Okay? And it makes notes about it. And then for any more information, visit or call. Wow. How's that? Then we're going to do another version, but this time we're going to promote some other guy. And all this stuff about the other guy. oh man, we can create promotions for anyone we want that speaks directly about them and the stuff they do and choose and use. You see what it's saying about that guy? This guy provides cutting edge penile implants, including the AMS 700 series and the Coloplast Titan Touch. And it's detailed and crystal clear, right? So by having this information here, we are providing helpful content, useful to people, okay? We can compare them or just write independently on behalf of each guy and write better than they can write because they don't understand SEO. They're not web savvy. They do what they do. Their webmaster is probably Slack, right? And so when we come in and start creating stuff, we can get seen higher than these guys. You know what I'll tell you has been the coolest thing that's happened to me now? When I asked GPT to come up with some external authority sites for this keyword or this topic, and you know what? When it starts listing the results for the external authority sites, it started to list like one or two of mine in the process. And I'm thinking, no way, this is so cool. When GPT is choosing me as external authority content on a topic, I'm telling you, man, we are on a rise like you wouldn't believe. That's crazy. So now that we know what we're doing, we're going to create pages like this to become main level pages, the top menu pages, the home page of each of our sites, okay? Setting the tone. And we are going to, update sites that need it, or just add in external authority for sites that are written really well. And all we need to do is add external authority in, because like I say, when GPT is choosing me as the external authority reference, we're doing some things very well. So we just need to upgrade that. Holy criminy. So anyway, the point I want to make about all this stuff is that we should write like this: subjective, well-researched, helpful content. Google's always wanted that. No one ever does it. Google couldn't do anything about that before because they couldn't really tell. They had to look at popularity to tell. Now, they're not looking at popularity as highly. Sure, popularity matters. What happens if we have a lot of sites that are all done extremely well and we do some backlinking through that cluster? That's a massive benefit. But if you take a page and you justify it with external authority links, and your page was written smartly because first we did the research, and then we used the research links in the content that we produce, there's a match. When Google's reading our content and following the link, it's not jarring like a strange match. It wasn't just a keyword match. No, the resources, the references that we're pointing out relate because we did the research first and wrote from the research. Does that make sense? This is the new way to write, I think, and this is probably the most stable direction you can take for the long term now. Don't try for tricks and games and twists, and don't be the next guy on the or in the treadmill for the same hashed routines that everyone else has been doing, like how long to bake salmon at 350 degrees. Now that GPT answers all the common stuff, go in and look for people to benefit or have us do it if you're having us do projects, right? Who can we benefit? How can we benefit them? If they started like any one of those doctors, or the X-Fog guy here, or this guy with the mounted televisions, they got started. We can take their content to a whole new level and make them a whole lot more visible by doing reviews and comparisons and stuff, and allowing people to see who they want to choose so that Google's happy sharing our knowledgeable pages, our clearly well-written, helpful content, okay? And I think that is the safest, smartest direction to go. And if you do that with a focus on selling leads in the industries, we can sell leads to the middleman guys until we know we got it, and then switch the phone numbers out for phone numbers that point out the end clients that want to take over for the leads so that we can make more money. And we can do that with any of you guys. So, yeah, I think this is going to be a fun ride. I can create pages that show the guys who are operating in the areas. I can compare and contrast them. I can make that stuff available like a dispatch system and a call now to get service phone number up here for clarity. I can have independent clickable links to those guys, but what we're basically saying is we know what's going on, give us a call. And that goes to the place who has all the deals set up with everyone and knows how to pre-qualify everyone. We can create pre-qualifications using the live chat agents that we built, the AI live chat agents, to ask a few questions, and then based on the responses, recommend this doctor or that doctor, or this service or that product or that product, right? We can do all that. So yeah, we've really learned a ton. And I just want to make sure the stuff is clear. In the case of what's the best garden hose? Are we talking about the longest one? Are we talking about one that's collapsible? Are we talking about one that's got the biggest pathway for the water? Are we talking about one that puts up with the heat better? It doesn't get all rubbery and mildy and fall apart and break down. What are we talking about, right? Well, then you just link out to the resources like Bob Villa, the home improvement guy, and you're naming the brand names that they like. And they've tested a bunch of garden hoses and recommend this one, okay? So instead of writing about what is a rake, what is a trowel, that stuff's easy to answer. Write how to pick a good rake. Because already AI doesn't know what you mean by a good rake. Depends on your situation. So when we start writing with a goal and we research it first, we're writing helpful content. And that we do to benefit companies, and that we do to get ourselves paid. Okay? Lock and load. And we can anchor that down. I want to create 10, 20 websites for a very specific end user who can handle all those leads. It could be Lowe's if they have affiliate links. You know, Target.com may still have affiliate links in the footer of their page for individual product stuff. What if you create the better choose this or that product that are well known and create the pages and put them out there and have your affiliate links for all that stuff? You can do it with ClickBank. You can do it with programs, you know, any kind of service or products. Okay. So the reason you use our website is you're not just writing inside GPT. We use the APIs to produce the content into the web pages, but we don't just go one web page at a time. If you use our web pages exporter tool on website-installer.com in the professional services section, you can auto-generate 100 web pages or 500. There's no limit. That go onto any website. So you can create pages and put them on a website, create other pages, put them on another website with that tool. And when you do that, you can infuse the external authority links as well, because the tool will allow it. It'll let you do that. So you can create review sites or whatever you want to do. That way, if you're offering different kinds of anti-fog solutions, you can suggest all of the best ones and the pros and cons and stuff for each, and have a link out to your affiliate links. Okay, hope you find that interesting. I'm going to break off, but yeah, this is the direction we're headed in now, and I'm choosing it because I do believe this will not change for a long time. Benefiting people and going in a subjective direction, I think, are absolutes. There is no way that that's changing in the near future. Everything else is kind of like a game by comparison, but this is where the money's at and where the ease of developing the right kind of content that we've always wanted to produce and get to rank. So instead of ranking on popularity, we get to rank on quality itself. If you research that paper and write it for college, it doesn't need to be popular. It just needs to be applauded, appraised well by the people who review it, right? The experts, right? And that's the point. All right.